Hey everyone, ever find yourself kind of, daydreaming about perfumes, those luxurious scents and like high-end cosmetics? What if I told you you could turn that fascination into an actual career?
It's true, it's out there.
Today we're diving deep, really getting into the nitty-gritty of import-export management,
Yeah.
specifically in the perfume and cosmetics industry. We're not just talking about any old job here, right? This is a career where you could be like navigating the globe, you're dealing with these high stakes deals, and yeah, maybe you even get to try some fantastic products along the way.
Who knows? Could be a perk.
And to make this deep dive even more useful, we're going to tackle something I know a lot of you are facing prepping for those interviews. You've sent in some sample questions, and we're going to unpack those, give you the insider tips and strategies that'll help you really, knock their socks off.
That's right. Think of this as your own, personal prep session.
Exactly. And it's all tailored for this specific role. Import-export manager in the, let's face it, pretty glamorous world of perfumes and cosmetics will reveal what those hiring managers are really looking for, what's hidden behind those tricky questions they throw at you, and how to honestly craft answers that make you unforgettable.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right in, shall we?
Let's do it.
The first question on your list, it's a classic, the one you always hear. Can you tell us about your experience in import-export operations? Seems pretty straightforward, right?
On the surface, sure, it does.
Right.
But they're not just looking for a, laundry list of everything you've done.
No, absolutely not.
They want to hear about your passion, like why this field gets you up in the morning.
That's important.
They want to see that you understand how complex it can be. And maybe most importantly, what have you actually accomplished? What's your track record?
It's about showing, not just telling. So instead of just rattling off those previous roles, like reading a shopping list, think about specific projects.
Yes.
Like, were there any challenges that you had to overcome? Were there times where you went above and beyond?
Totally.
Did you streamline a shipping process? Maybe negotiate a really tricky contract? Maybe you even averted like a major customs disaster.
I like that.
Right.
Right.
Now's the time to share those stories. This is where you highlight what makes you uniquely qualified.
Absolutely. What makes you... Yeah, and you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
This whole idea of really showcasing those wins, those moments where you went above and beyond.
Yeah.
It ties in perfectly with the next question on your list, which is, how do you ensure compliance with import-export regulations?
Ah, yes. Compliance, the heart and soul of international trade.
Right. But it's more than just, boxes to check. This question, it's where they want to see how meticulous you are.
It's a jungle out there, right? All that paperwork, the ever-changing regulations, laws that seem to shift like sand dunes.
Exactly. And they need to know you can navigate that, not just, keep your head above water, but do it confidently, ethically.
And that you're committed to staying like squeaky clean, above board, all of that.
Absolutely. So when you're answering this, don't just throw around a bunch of jargon.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I know all the Inca terms. No one's impressed by that.
Right. Talk about specific regulations you're familiar with, international trade laws, customs procedures, anything specific to cosmetics and perfumes. Like, are there extra regulations on certain ingredients? Mention those.
Yes, show them you've done your homework, you know what you're dealing with.
Exactly. And don't stop there. Give examples. How did you put those compliance measures into action in your previous roles?
Love that. So did you develop a system for, I don't know, tracking documentation? Did you play a key role in making sure your company was ahead of those new regulations before they even came into effect?
Exactly. Be proactive. Show them you're not just following the rules, you're one step ahead.
You're playing 3D chess while everyone else is still on checkers.
I like that. Okay, now speaking of being proactive, this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI can be a total game changer, even in your interview prep.
Oh, tell me more. I am intrigued.
So, picture this. You input the job description, RoleCatcher analyzes it.
Okay, so far so good.
It figures out exactly which compliance skills they're really after.
Interesting.
Then you can tailor your answers to hit those points dead on.
So you're not just guessing, hoping you're covering all the bases. You're getting that insider knowledge, speaking directly to their needs. I like it.
It's like having a secret weapon, giving you an edge. Okay, moving on. Another big one for any import-export manager. Teamwork.
Can't do it all yourself, right?
Nope. And your list actually includes this question. How do you manage a team of import-export coordinators?
Ooh, this is a good one.
It is because it gets at your leadership style.
Are you a my way or the highway kind of leader, or are you more collaborative? this question. It's trying to get at that.
For sure. And it's about more than just delegating tasks. Can you communicate clearly? Can you resolve conflict without, World War III breaking out?
Exactly. You want to show them you're not just a manager, but a leader, someone who can inspire their team, right? Motivate them to hit those goals.
Absolutely. So think about how you approach delegation. Do you give your team ownership, or are you micromanaging every little detail? How do you make sure everyone's on the same page, working towards that common goal?
And then there's the communication piece. Because let's be real, in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment like this, disagreements,
Yeah.
misunderstandings, they're going to happen.
Oh, 100%. It's not about avoiding them. It's about how you handle them.
Yes. And this is where a really good story can make all the difference. Can you share a specific example of a time when you navigated a team challenge, maybe a conflict that arose?
A time when you took a potential disaster and turned it into a win. Those stories, they bring your answer to life. They make you relatable, memorable.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the global nature of this role.
Love it. Going international.
Exactly. And one of the questions you sent in was, how do you negotiate with international suppliers and customers?
This is where things get really interesting, don't they?
They do. Because it's not just about being multilingual, although, hey, if you speak 5 languages, put that on your resume.
Of course, definitely.
But it's about more than that.
So much more.
It's about cultural nuances, understanding those unspoken rules, the different communication styles, and being able to build rapport across borders.
Because a firm handshake might be the norm in one country, but in another.
Could be completely taboo.
Exactly.
Or, maybe a direct communication style is fine in one place, but somewhere else it's seen as rude.
Right. And you need to know these things. It's about being culturally intelligent.
Showing them you can build those strong relationships, even when you're dealing with those tricky cultural differences.
It's all about those connections.
Now, speaking of cultural differences, this reminds me of a time.
Oh, I've got a million of those stories, but yeah, let's get back to the questions.
Right. So this next one, it kind of digs into that relationship building aspect even further.
Yeah.
How do you manage relationships with international suppliers and customers?
Okay, yeah, this one's huge. Because it goes beyond just knowing how to talk to people.
Right.
They want to know, you get it, that those strong relationships, the ones built on trust, mutual respect, those are gold.
Especially when you're navigating all those cultural differences, language barriers, time zones, everything.
Exactly. So think about a time when, I don't know, maybe you had a really tough conversation with this supplier, but you managed to come out of it with everyone feeling good.
Or maybe you went above and beyond for a customer and they became like your biggest fan.
Yes. Those stories, you can build those win-win situations and in international trade.
That's the magic formula.
Exactly. And you know what else can be magical? RoleCatcher's AI. Seriously.
Okay, you're really selling me on this RoleCatcher thing. What's the AI got to do with relationship building?
So imagine you've practiced your answers.
Right.
Yeah.
Do my homework.
You plug them into RoleCatcher. The AI analyzes everything, but here's the cool part. It compares it to the job description.
Oh, getting specific.
Totally. It might suggest, hey, add more context here, or, you know what? They use this phrase a lot in the job description. Sprinkle it in.
So I'm basically speaking their language.
Exactly. It's like having a coach in your corner, giving you real-time feedback. And that's just one thing. RoleCatcher has a bunch of features that can help you stand out.
Like what?
Their resume and cover letter builder is amazing.
Okay, I've heard mixed things about those AI resume builders. Some people say they're great. Some people say they're like a recipe for disaster.
Right. But this one's different. Trust me. It analyzes thousands of job descriptions, figures out the keywords, the tone, everything.
So I'm not just shooting in the dark, hoping my resume makes it past the robots.
Exactly. It helps you structure everything, highlight your accomplishments. And then there's Career Compass. For anyone who's just starting out in import-export or thinking about a career change, it helps you explore different paths, see what skills you might need, even find courses to boost your qualifications.
It's like having a roadmap for your career.
Totally.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. We unpacked those interview questions, talked about RoleCatcher and how it can help. But at the end of the day,
What's it all boil down to?
confidence. Be prepared. Be yourself. Let that passion shine through. You've got this.
You do. And, while we're on the topic of passion and all that, we've talked about the skills, the qualifications. But what about the personality? What kind of mindset do you think you really need to thrive in this world, in this crazy, fast-paced world of international trade, especially with something as vibrant and ever-changing as perfume and cosmetics? Something to think about.
Ooh, That is a great question to ponder. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. But don't worry, we'll be back soon with another deep dive exploring more fascinating career paths. Until then, happy job hunting.